Imagine waking up in a universe where every star is dead and Earth is nothing but dust. Sounds impossible, right? But according to modern physics, that future is already locked in motion, and the countdown has already started. Right now, as you're watching this, the universe is quietly changing in ways nobody can stop. The sun is heating up, galaxies are drifting apart, and somewhere in the far future, reality itself may tear apart atom by atom. But here's the strange part. The biggest threat to humanity may not be extinction. It may be surviving long enough to witness what comes next. So today, we're jumping 10 quintillion years into the future. A number so huge your brain almost rejects it. That's a 1 followed by 19 zeros. By the end of this journey, black holes will evaporate, stars will disappear, and the universe itself may freeze into eternal darkness. And that's only the beginning. Our first stop is 1 billion years from now, and Earth is already dying. At first, the changes seem small. The sun becomes only 10% brighter. But that tiny increase changes everything. Oceans begin evaporating. Plants collapse. The carbon cycle breaks. Temperatures rise past survivable limits. Human civilization either escapes or disappears forever. And this is where it gets weird. Mars won't save us. In fact, the entire inner solar system becomes a death trap. Humanity would need to move farther out, possibly beyond Pluto, or even beyond the Milky Way itself. Unless humans stop being human. Some scientists believe future civilizations could upload consciousness into machines. No disease, no aging, no death. Just digital minds surviving inside giant artificial worlds powered by unimaginable energy systems. But that creates another terrifying question. What happens when the stars powering those machines begin to die too? Because eventually, every source of energy in the universe starts running out. And that's when the real nightmare begins. 10 billion years into the future, the solar system becomes almost unrecognizable. The sun, the same star that gave birth to every ocean, forest, and human civilization, is no longer yellow. It's a dense white corpse the size of Earth. But before it dies, it transforms into something horrifying. A red giant. As the sun expands, Mercury disappears first. Then Venus. And Earth? It doesn't explode. It's worse than that. The planet is slowly roasted, stripped apart, and reduced to a burned iron core. Every city, every monument, every trace of humanity erased forever. But that's not even the craziest part. While our sun is dying, something massive is happening across the galaxy. The Milky Way and Andromeda are colliding. Two galaxies, trillions of stars, smashing together in slow motion over millions of years. Imagine standing inside a cosmic snow globe where entire solar systems are hurled through space like grains of sand. And somehow, stars probably won't collide. That sounds impossible. But space is so unbelievably empty that stars usually miss each other entirely. Instead, gravity reshuffles everything. Some planets are flung into deep space forever, including possibly ours. Scientists estimate there's a real chance the solar system gets thrown completely out of the galaxy during the merger. And this is where things take a darker turn. About 22 billion years into the future, physicists believe the universe itself could begin ripping apart. Literally. It's called the Big Rip. Dark energy, the mysterious force accelerating the expansion of the universe, may eventually overpower gravity completely. Galaxies separate, then stars, then planets. Then atoms themselves are torn apart. Reality dissolves into nothing. What happens next changes everything. Because scientists still don't know what dark energy actually is. That means the force deciding the fate of the entire universe remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in existence. And if the Big Rip doesn't happen, the future somehow becomes even colder. 100 trillion years from now, the universe enters a silent apocalypse. This era has a name. The end of the stars. For billions of years, galaxies were alive with light. Massive stars exploded into supernovas. New stars formed from giant clouds of gas. Entire solar systems were born in cosmic firestorms. But eventually, the raw materials run out. Hydrogen, the fuel that powers stars, becomes incredibly rare. Star formation slows, then stops completely. The universe begins going dark. But here's the strange part. Not all stars die the same way. Tiny red dwarfs survive the longest. Some burn for trillions of years. Massive stars die young in catastrophic explosions, leaving behind neutron stars and black holes. And brown dwarfs? Failed stars too weak to ignite properly. Cosmic leftovers drifting through darkness. At this point, the universe becomes a graveyard of stellar corpses. No sunsets, no warm planets, no new beginnings, only remnants. And this raises a terrifying possibility. How does life survive in a universe without stars? Maybe humanity evolves into pure machine intelligence. Maybe civilizations build artificial suns. Or maybe they abandon this universe entirely. Because some physicists believe advanced civilizations could eventually create baby universes in laboratories. Sounds insane. But remember, humans went from horses to spaceflight in barely a century. Now imagine millions of years of progress. And that's when things changed. At 10 quintillion years into the future, the universe enters something called the degenerate era. This is where almost every bright object is gone. White dwarfs drift through darkness. Black holes roam like cosmic predators. Dead stars occasionally collide, briefly reigniting light before fading again. For the first time since the Big Bang, the universe feels truly empty. And it only gets worse. Matter itself begins breaking down. The atoms making up everything, planets, stars, even you, slowly decay over unimaginable stretches of time. Which means the universe isn't just dying anymore. It's dissolving. 10 duodecillion years into the future, the cosmos becomes almost impossible to recognize. No planets, no stars, no galaxies glowing in the distance. Only black holes remain. These monsters dominate the universe now, consuming anything unlucky enough to drift too close. Entire dead stars spiral into them and vanish forever. At least, that's what scientists used to think. But here's where it gets weird. Black holes may not live forever. According to Stephen Hawking, black holes slowly leak radiation. Tiny particles escape their edges over absurdly long timescales. The process is so slow it makes human history look microscopic. But eventually, even the biggest black hole evaporates. Imagine the largest object in the universe simply fading away into nothing. And when the final black hole dies, the universe enters the dark era. This is the true end. No light, no heat, almost no matter left at all. The remaining particles are scattered across distances so huge they may never interact again. The temperature drops toward absolute zero. Reality becomes silent forever. But that's not even the craziest part. Some scientists think this ending may not actually be the end. There's another theory called the Big Crunch. Instead of expanding forever, the universe could suddenly reverse direction. Space itself would begin collapsing inward. Galaxies rush together. Temperatures rise. Time itself becomes chaotic. Eventually, the entire universe compresses into a single point. And then, another Big Bang, another universe, another beginning, which creates a terrifying question nobody can answer. Has this happened before? Could our universe simply be one cycle in an endless chain of cosmic deaths and rebirths? Maybe countless civilizations existed before us. Maybe entire universes lived and died before Earth even formed. And if that's true, then somewhere, far beyond what we can observe, another universe may already be starting right now. But after everything you've seen, dead stars, collapsing galaxies, evaporating black holes, one mystery still remains unanswered. What happens to humanity? Because survival isn't enough anymore. Eventually, every habitable planet disappears. Every star burns out. Every source of natural energy vanishes. The universe itself becomes hostile to life. So how could intelligence continue existing? One possibility sounds like science fiction, but may someday become reality. Building an entirely new universe. Some physicists believe advanced civilizations could manipulate quantum fields so precisely that they create miniature universes in controlled environments. Tiny newborn cosmoses with their own laws of physics. At first, they'd be microscopic. Then they'd expand, potentially becoming entire universes disconnected from our own. Think about that for a second. The descendants of humanity may not simply travel through space. They may manufacture reality itself. And this is where the timeline becomes almost incomprehensible. Right now, humanity is only a few hundred years removed from the Industrial Revolution. We already manipulate atoms, edit DNA, and observe galaxies billions of light years away. So what could intelligence become after millions or billions of years? A Type 1 civilization controls planetary energy. A Type 2 civilization controls stars. A Type 3 civilization controls galaxies. But some theories go even further. Civilizations capable of reshaping space-time, harvesting black holes, escaping dying universes, rewriting physics itself. And maybe that's the real story hidden inside the future of the cosmos. Not the death of the universe, but the evolution of intelligence beyond it. Because long after Earth is gone, long after the sun becomes cold ash, something may still remain awake in the darkness. Watching, waiting, trying to survive until the next universe begins. And maybe the creepiest thought of all is this. If intelligent life can eventually create universes, then who created ours?